Hello. Lobotomy Eco Lamp Gregor is the latest addition to Limbus Company's ever-expanding roster, so today I wanted to go over his kit and see how he compares to the two units he's competing with. Lamp Gregor is a sinking burn unit with above average HP and a speed roll of 1 to 4. Gregor's speed roll may look horrible on paper, but I'll go over why it's not so bad in just a moment. Moving on to his passives, which Gregor has 3 of. Dazzling Lamp gives Gregor 1 lamp at turn start, prevents Gregor's minimum maximum speed stats from being altered, and converts any haste he gains into 1 clash power-up, with some limits. Haste will always be converted into 1 clash power-up, no matter the amount of haste gained, and Gregor cannot receive haste for the rest of the turn after the effect activates. It also allows Gregor to clash with skills, regardless of the target's speed, behaving similarly to how Y Ishmael's defense stance works. This removes Gregor's main downside of having low speed. Lamp is a stack-based effect that goes up to 8. It gives Gregor 1 bind for every 2 stacks, and at max stacks, the effect is consumed at turn end to inflict 3 stacks of Dazzle on the enemy with the most HP. Consuming the stacks also applies 10 aggro to Gregor's leftmost slot. Dazzle is a panic changing status with a couple of effects. Its primary effect is causing units to take 0.5% more damage from base skills for every 1 sinking and burn potency, capping at 10% more damage at 20 sum total. Dazzle's panic effect causes units to gain 1 bind and 2 offense level down when in a state of low morale, and 1 bind and 4 offense level down when panicking. If a unit either lacks sanity or has a fixed panic type, they'll instead gain 2 defense level down, so you can basically treat Dazzle as 1 fragile. But do keep in mind that the 10% damage boost it grants only applies to the raw damage of a base skill, so no egos and no damaging effects like Butterfly and Dark Flame. Gregor's second passive, Ego Gear Proficiency Manual, gives Gregor 1 defense level up for every ally wearing Ego Gear, including himself, capping at 3 defense level up. I'll leave a link to a list of every unit with Ego Gear in the description, but the notable ones are Solemn Lament Yi Sang, the Sword Sharpened with Tears Rodion, Magic Bullet Otis, and Ardor Blossom Faust. He also gains 2 Pierce power up the following turn after an ally's death, activating once per turn. His main passive requires 2 Gloom Res and does 3 things. It gives Gregor 1 lamp for every 2 Gloom Res, capping at 3 lamp at 6 Gloom Res. That's 1 lamp minimum. Gregor has 5 SP at combat start if an enemy has Dazzle. And at turn end, Gregor applies Guardians of the Forest to the unit with the earliest deployment order, as long as they don't meet these 3 conditions. 1. They're Gregor. 2. They already have Guardians of the Forest. And 3. They're in a state of panic or corrosion. Guardians of the Forest heals 4 SP before an attack. If the unit is already at max SP, then they gain 2 offense level up instead. If the skill uses negative coins, they'll lose 8 SP instead. This effect cannot send them below 40 SP. Guardians of the Forest is then removed. This is mostly just a small buff that's on par with Butterfly's SP healing. His support passive requires 3 Wrath Res, and gives the earliest deployed unit with negative status effects 1 blunt damage up, and 4 aggro on the leftmost slot. His skills gain buffs if any of the following conditions are met. I'll be going over them really quickly just so I don't need to repeat them 3 times. The 3 conditions are, the target is faster than Gregor by 3 speed or more, Gregor's speed is at 1, or if the target has Dazzle. If any of these conditions are met, the skill gains its respective buffs. His skill 1 is a 15 rolling, 2 coin Wrath Pierce skill that gains 1 coin power if any of the conditions are met. It also gains 1 coin power if the target's total sum of sinking and burn potency add up to 6. On use, Gregor gains 1 bind, and inflicts 2 burn with his first coin and 3 sinking with his second coin. His skill 2 is a 19 rolling, 4 coin Gloom Pierce skill that gains 2 clash power up if any of Gregor's conditionals are met. If the target's total sum of sinking and burn adds up to 6, Gregor gains 1 coin power. It inflicts 3 sinking count with its first coin, and deals 30% of the coin's final damage as blunt damage, 2 sinking potency with its second coin, and deals 30% of the coin's final damage as blunt damage. Its third coin inflicts 2 burn, and its fourth coin inflicts 2 burn count. This skill is amazing at triggering Butterfly. 4 procs at the cost of 1 is a bargain, and not to mention the fact it has 2 opportunities to become count neutral, or even positive through Echoes of the Mana. His skill 3 is a 23 rolling, 3 coin Pride Pierce skill that gains 1 coin power and deals 40% more damage if any of his conditionals are met. It also gains 1 coin power if the target's total sum of sinking and burn add up to 6. If the target has Dazzle, it also gains Unbreakable coins and 3 clash power. It inflicts 1 burn count and 3 sinking count with its first coin, 3 burn and 3 sinking potency with its second coin, and deals 60% more damage with its third coin if the target's core part has less than 25% HP. If the target has Dazzle, then it will deal additional gloom damage equal to 80% of the third coin's final damage. If Gregor kills the target, or if the target has Dazzle, then he'll also gain 1 plus coin boost next turn. Same case as his skill 2 really. 3 sinking procs for the cost of 0 count, 2 opportunities to become count positive, and it's also a pride skill, so it helps with fueling Magic Bullet. If you have Gregor's Solemn Lament, I recommend using it after this skill to get the most out of the plus coin boost. His defensive skill is a 13 rolling Gloom Clashable Guard that instantly boosts him up to 8 stacks of lamp at the cost of 1% of his max HP per stack gained. This effect cannot kill Gregor. Additionally, it applies 1 haste to the slowest allies. The amount of allies receiving the buff scales on Gregor's bind divided by 2. This is genuinely one of the best skills in his entire kit. For starters, it can be used to instantly place Dazzle on the target at the start of the encounter, allowing Gregor to meet his conditionals extremely early on, give everybody on the team a nice damage boost. Secondly, Gregor can't drop below 1 lamp, so at most he's losing 7%, but that isn't necessarily true either. Anyways, I recommend you use this if the target doesn't have Dazzle, especially if Gregor has a skill 3 coming up. Moving on to Ego he synergizes with, Solemn Lament is the main one. Gregor is basically guaranteed to be going last, but you can benefit from additional sinking and debuffs being placed on the target. Solemn Lament's passive is also going to be active almost constantly because of the bind Gregor gains. Sword in Scabbard gives Gregor 2 protection, making him Brilliant Glory an amazing pick for long fights such as bosses. The additional aggro also helps with Gregor's role as a tank. Moving on to team building, I'll be going over burn and comparing Lamp to Fire Fist before covering sinking. When it comes to raw damage, Fire Fist has Lamp beat, but Lamp gives the entire team a 10% damage buff, so it basically balances out. Looking at potency and count infliction, Fire Fist once again beats out Lamp, with 18 potency and 14 count per rotation. That's triple Lamp's count. And lastly, their sin affinities. Lamp provides 1 pride per rotation, while Fire Fist provides 3 lust. Both of these sins are very important for Magic Bullet, and without Fire Fist, Thunder Assault skill 2 and Leo Rodion skill 3 become your only sources of lust, for a total of 3 lust per rotation. And while this isn't that huge of an issue, it can certainly get in the way of using Magic Bullet. Gregor does make using Dawn Office a little more consistent for Guardians of the Forest, but that's kind of it. So overall, Fire Fist isn't getting replaced by Lamp, but you can certainly run Lamp on your burn team. Now for sinking. Lamp is going to be for Edgar's spots on both Deluge and Butterfly teams. Lamp Gregor beats out Edgar in damage without factoring in the team-wide boost Dazzle grants. As for sinking procs and count, Edgar is 1 count negative for a total of 11 procs, while Lamp is 8 count negative for a total of 17 procs. There are 2 important things to note here. The first is that Edgar only becomes count negative if he uses skill 3, without it he becomes 3 count positive, and Spice Bush teams specifically avoid using it. A similar argument can also be made for using Lamp's Guard in place of a skill 1 for Dazzle. And the second thing is that Echoes of the Manor exists, so in practicality Edgar is going to be count positive and Lamp isn't going to be nearly as count negative. As for sins, the only notable one is the envy provided by Edgar's skill 1, which is mostly used for Gregor's Solemn Lament and Rodion's Ramshank. The last thing I want to talk about is Ego synergy. Edgar has a lot of synergy with Solemn Lament. Outside of fueling it almost perfectly, his skill 3 gives him 1 coin power boost and 3 damage up. Using Solemn Lament while this buff is active leads to a lot of damage. Solemn Lament then activates Edgar's passive, giving him damage up and fragile, which then activates Solemn Lament's passive and gives Gregor 1 attack power up. It's an entire loop and they're basically made for each other. Lamp Gregor can activate Solemn Lament's passive consistently for that 1 attack power up, and he gains coin power boost with his skill 3, it's nowhere near the level of Edgar. Although going last lets your other units add more sinking to the stack, while Lamp Gregor uses Solemn Lament. With all that out of the way, which one is better? The answer is pretty cut and dry if I'm being honest. Edgar is much better suited for Spice Bush teams, due to him being count positive without his skill 3, and the fact Spice Bush teams would rather have count than sinking procs, while Lamp Gregor is better on Solemn Lament teams, due to his high number of coins letting him activate Butterfly more. Lamp Gregor is certainly a welcome addition to the sinking archetype, but he's nothing groundbreaking, and I'd honestly recommend you save your paws for Walpurgis Night, as it's probably going to be happening within the next 4 weeks. Anyways, thank you for watching, feedback is welcome as always, and if you disagree or have any opinions you want to share, feel free to drop them below.